You've got a crazy bloke who's laying head first in something that can do 170 mile an hour, and then you've got another bloke jumping about on the back trying to keep it upright. It's just not normal, is it? I'm Tim Reeves. I'm 8 times world champion, 6 times British champion, Isle of Man TT winner, 4 times Southern 100 champion. And yeah, I've been racing for nearly 30 years.
I'm Mark Wilkes, Tim's current passenger, and yeah, not quite got as much under my belt as that, unfortunately. I've got a world championship that I won with Tim in 2019.
But you're still the best in the world, that's what I've got. It's an LCR chassis, which is Swiss built. It's powered by a Yamaha R6 engine. This is my Isle of Man TT bike. It's a fully tuned engine. That's that the regulations allow you. As long as it's 600cc, you can do whatever you like. So it's putting out maybe 140 horsepower. It weighs 210 kilos maybe. The bikes that we'll be using then will be aluminium monocoque. They're a little bit longer than this. They would be similar weight, 210, 215 kilos, 130 horsepower probably. You would lap the circuit probably 4 seconds faster on that design of chassis than this. The World Championship bike, the engineering is fantastic, and they're a lot more precise. You've got a bigger scope for adjustment. All 3 wheels are adjustable completely in trail, angle, camber, position backwards and forwards. Whereas on this bike, the front and rear wheel is fixed. You can adjust the sidecar wheel by moving it backwards or forwards, which gives grip or drive to the front or rear. I would say I'm doing everything, but you're not. Without a good passenger, you would not be able to go far. I don't control the balance of the bike. I'm just riding it as hard as I can. When I set off, I don't even think about him. Mark has quite a fine balance. He controls the amount of drift and drive I get, a grip on the front, grip on the rear. If you put a bag of potatoes on the sidecar, you could go around the track, but you wouldn't go very fast. A lot of people can get on a sidecar and go fast straight away and be aggressive, but not that last second. You need to have finesse. They're like ballerinas, really. A good one, you don't even know he's on the bike. I mean, they quite aggressively move about, but when I'm riding, I never feel him. I wouldn't even know he's on it. And then when you turn to a corner, it just feels like you're on your own. Then you know you've got a good balance, and that's what makes you go fast.
There's no better preparation than actual bike time, being on the bike.
I couldn't do what he does. There's no way I could do it as well as him. I was a good passenger, but I was never as good as he is. They're totally different. It's a special job. I shouldn't say it, but there's probably 4 or 5 exceptional blokes in the world that can do this job, Mark being one of them. If we would go by flat out, you wouldn't even see him because he'd be tucked up in such a small ball out of the way.
If you're in the wind, you're just creating a drag, you're slowing it down.
And it's just the feel of what the bike's doing, because they dance. They don't just drive around like a car.
No, they're not always.
They're sliding all the time, and the art to get real fast is to find the balance between drift and drive. You need a certain amount of drift to steer it, but too much drift and you lose drive. So you've got to find that balance, and it's a float. It's like the whole thing's floating all the time.
So I can move my body weight further forward or further back.
For example, when we come here in April, we'll go out of the pit lane and I'll ride as hard as I can. 5 or 6 laps, we'll have found a balance. 1 lap we might go into this first corner on the front at push. The next lap it won't, because he'll have moved his weight and put it in the right place. And if he's not in the right place at the right time, it can throw him out, and if it throws him out, I'm upside down.
I started on a novice licence, so I had to work up to get a national licence to be able to go do the World Championship. So yeah, there is a progression.
There is, yeah.
You can't just jump on and go flat out straight away.
Yeah, you'd obviously have to pass your medical, and you'd get an ACU licence, which would allow you then to race at club level racing in England, and you'd have to do 10 race meetings
and be within the sets.
Yeah, at 3 different circuits. Then you would move up a level until you get your national licence. Anyone could go out and buy a World Championship bike like mine and ride it. Yeah, even without a driving licence. You don't even need a road bike licence to race one. I was born into it. My father was a sidecar racer, and the day I was born, he dropped my mum at hospital and went off racing. It was in my blood. But then once you take part in it, it's, in my opinion, it's the only form of motorsport you can share with someone. It doesn't matter what you do on it. You can be the best superbiking rider in the world, and then he'll go out on the track and he'll come in, he could have had the best race in his life, but it doesn't matter what he tells anyone, he can't share that experience. With this sport, you do the same ridiculous things sometimes, and you come in and you're like, oh my God, what about that? And you've got a bond because you've just done the same thing you've done.